It's all about closing that gap on Liverpool, isn't it? At the top of the table. Arsenal then 11 to 10 on pretty much evens. Manchester City coming in pretty much 3 to 1. Kieran, how are you feeling? Oh, everyone thinks Arsenal's going to win. There we go. Frank's going 3-2. Me and Shaka 2-0. Gibbsy 2-1. Craig's going tighter though, 1-0. Kieran, how are you feeling going into this?
I'm feeling optimistic. Certainly more so this game than the previous 4 where we fell short. It's a massive game, isn't it? I think there's still a long way to go, but potentially it's a pivotal week. So many moving parts to this game. I think that the way this season's playing out for both City and Arsenal, and then not really reaching the heights and the level of performances in recent season. I think this game comes down more to desire and heart and who wants it more as opposed to tactics and who's going to outsmart one another. Yes, we can talk about the teams and the setup and how they go about it, but just because of the form and both teams have been pretty stodgy this season, let's be honest. I think it's going to be a game of desire, and plus the fact that a draw doesn't really suit each team. I think it has all the ingredients for a great game of football.
It's all about Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah, Man City are playing for the crumbs this year, which isn't where they have normally been. Arsenal's need, as Kieran said, is much different. They have to believe that they'll know. When is the Liverpool game? Is it before or after?
Liverpool game's tomorrow. Bournemouth is at 10 p.m.
So they will know what position they're in. The likelihood is Liverpool have another 3 points. Bournemouth are a good side, but you have to believe that. So they'll probably go into that game knowing they're still chasing. They can ill afford to lose. When you have somebody when you have a team, when a team's on the ropes, don't sit back and let them get back into the game. Arsenal are at home. City are rocked. City are poor defensively. City can be got at. City lack legs in midfield. Everything Arsenal have. Arsenal have pace in the wide areas. Arsenal have legs in the middle of the park. You have to utilise that, and I think that's where Arsenal will be too strong for this current City side, the middle of the park. That's why it was a surprise that Odegaard and that Arsenal team was as strong against Girona. That being said, I still think, City had a game, they had to win, they had to go for it. It was end to end pretty much towards the end, so there'll be a bit of the taken out of their legs. But this is Arsenal to go and prove that they can put a run together and put some pressure on Liverpool, because unless Liverpool get beat or drop points against Bournemouth, anything else for Arsenal is going to make it pretty much untenable for them to chase this Liverpool side down.
In seasons gone by, when Arsenal were chasing Manchester City or vice versa coming on to the back end of the season, Arsenal played for a draw. And we've been very critical of that. Arsenal cannot afford that kind of approach. I'd be desperately disappointed if that's how Arteta set his team up and that was the goal in this one, because it's
why would you?
Exactly, and that's
He won't do that.
I'm really hoping not.
For various reasons. I mean, points and the fact City's current state.
And the weird thing is, City win this. All of a sudden, City are within 3 points of Arsenal. Give them all the criticism.
I know, isn't that random?
Right? I mean, give them all the criticism we've thrown at Manchester City. All of a sudden, they're back in it. But this, without question, is Arsenal's game to lose. I expect a strong approach. As I say, there are some question marks around David Raya and his fitness. I think he'll play regardless, whatever, especially given Neto's performance in midweek. And now this, and I say it's as big a test because, again, how they've approached City in years gone by, and then last season when Liverpool stumbled, so did Arsenal, and that for me was the big test or the big show of them psychologically, whether they were really ready to make that step up. Hopefully they've learned from that, hopefully they're better for it, and you'll see that on the weekend.
Frank?
It's a turning point, and it's a turning point because after that game, if of course Liverpool wins, if the team was going to lose, it's going to lose big time. I mean, Arsenal, if they even draw or lose, not going to fight for the title. And for Manchester City, it's going to be, of course, the end of it, the end of any dreams. They can fight for the fourth spot maybe, or the third one, but it's going to be over. We've been very critical. I just answered to Shaka. I've been very critical towards Manchester City, rightfully. But they are still there. Like we've been very critical to Real Madrid, and they're first in La Liga. So the football is getting crazy, and we expect.
Frank, one's top of the league, the other's 20 points behind.
No, well, it is a comparison because that team lost against Barcelona 6-0, I don't remember, being awful at the beginning of the season and so far away from what we were expecting. Now tell me that's not true. Yes, they're better than Manchester City. Well, we'll see after 2 legs. Well, but still, let me think that it's not the Real Madrid we were looking for and we were expecting to watch. It was pretty appalling at the beginning of the season. It's better, but it's better because also Barcelona dropped and Atletico also is dropping points. So coming back to Manchester City, to see that if they win against Arsenal, they're only 3 points away from Arsenal, that's absolutely fantastic for them. Because we all know that they're so far away from the powerful Manchester City that they used to be.
If City were to finish above Arsenal in the league this year, that would pile a...
I think we're a long way from that.
No, but that would pile an awful lot of pressure on the Arsenal manager, bearing in mind the state set around. I'm more concerned about who's reffing this game, because I can't have another weekend of this Arsenal... Now, they were right last weekend to be aggrieved, of course, on the Miles Lewis-Skelly. But it's a weekly. It is the weekly conspiracy Arsenal theory.
Stevie, I think it's
otherwise not. Hopefully a clean game. But yeah, it's there for Arsenal to go and win. It's at home. I think to Shaka when he was talking about the midweek game, I think Club Brugge had very similar stats to Man City in terms of efforts at goal and efforts on target. In fact, I think theirs was better at the Etihad in a Champions League game. I think that tells you everything you need to know about how easy it is to get